To replace the belt on your retractable belt barrier, you first want to remove the cassette from your stanchion. If you're unsure how to do this, refer to our cassette replacement video. Now that you are ready to replace your belt, you first want to fully extend the belt from the cassette. This will give you access to the spring-loaded spindle at the center of your cassette. At this point, it's important to make sure that you hold the spindle in place throughout the remainder of the belt replacement process. Now, push the belt out of the back of the spindle and remove the retaining pin from inside the loop at the end of the belt. After removing the retaining pin, you can now remove the belt from the cassette. Warning: once the belt is removed, it is very important to hold on to the spindle and keep it in place. If you release the spindle, then the internal spring mechanism will lose its tension, and you will have to manually tighten the spring. To prevent this from happening, we recommend taking the retaining pin and wedging it into the cassette. This will help to prevent the spindle from releasing and make it easier to add your new belt. Now that the belt has been fully removed and spindle locked in place, you can take your new belt and slide it into the front of the cassette and spindle. Before proceeding, it is important to ensure a couple of things. First, you want to make sure your belt is right side up. You can easily do this by ensuring that any printed message on the belt is facing up, or by extending the belt to make sure the belt end is facing up. If not checked, you may end up placing the belt on upside down. Lastly, it is important that the small entrance on the spindle is facing towards the front of the cassette while the large entrance is facing to the back of the cassette. This will make sure your belt correctly resets into the cassette. Before proceeding, you will want to make sure you grab the spindle again to ensure that it does not release. With the spindle in hand, you now want to remove the retaining pin and push the belt through the spindle. You can then insert the retaining pin into the new belt. If you're having trouble inserting the retaining pin into the belt, then you can now release the spindle to free up both hands. With the retaining pin in place, you now want to pull on the belt to secure the pin inside the spindle. At this point, you can release the spindle and the belt will retract back into the cassette, completing the belt replacement process. If you have any other questions, feel free to contact us or visit qsolutions.com for more information.